Hey folks, it's Andrew from Gemba Red, and today we have a new panel from Alibaba. This is from Sunplus LED company, and this is the RT1500 Plus model. Now it's a nice big panel. It's about 3 feet tall and 1 foot wide. And usually I just ask them for whatever is their standard model or whatever they have in stock, so that way they can produce it and ship it to me pretty quickly. So I usually don't ask for any customizations when I do these kinds of tests. And they quoted me $240 for the panel itself and $154 for shipping. And the shipping was DDP, so that included customs, so I didn't get any customs bills to the USA. So in total, this was under $400 for a nice hefty panel like this. Now, Sunplus LED technology does seem to have some sort of brand name or logo that goes by the name of Redfy, so you can look for that if you're trying to find the listings on Alibaba. I'll put a link in the description, but sometimes those links get broken, so just try to search for it yourself by searching their name and searching for their trademark kind of logo, Redfy. And the stand I'm using is just a TV stand from Amazon. I think it's cheaper to get the stands from Amazon, so that way you don't have to pay the extra cost for shipping. So anyway, let's test this out and see if it's clinical grade. So once you have it plugged in, there's a master switch on the back of the panel that you have to turn on, and then the control panel lights up. And I like the simple display. It's just this digital output and a couple different buttons. And I love the digits are in red, because a lot of times you can get companies doing them in white or blue. So I love that it's on brand, it's already red. So let's just turn it on. Make sure it's at max brightness for our first test. So there it's blinking 100%. It does have some pulse modes. It's got modes to switch between red and near infrared and to set a timer. So pretty basic and easy to use. So the electrical power draw is 410 watts. And so remember, there's a big difference between being a 1500 watt rating versus how many watts it actually consumes is usually much lower. And so you want to look at that and make sure you understand the power requirements for your circuit. And I believe this is just 4 wavelengths, 2 reds and 2 near infrareds. Okay, at 6 inches away from the center point, we get 64 milliwatts per centimeter squared, so that's nice and toasty. We get a peak wavelength of 660. There seems to be a smaller component, maybe around 630, and then the near infrared wavelengths around 810 and 850. At 12 inches away, it only drops down to about 62 or 63. So again, with those narrow beam angles and wide panels, you get very strong output. Even at 12 inches away, it's almost similar to being 6 inches away. Okay, at 24 inches away, we're still at 53 milliwatts per centimeter squared, so still quite high, even pretty far away. Okay, now 3 feet away, we're almost down to clinical grade intensity. We're down to 40 milliwatts per centimeter squared. Okay, 4 feet away, we get 32 milliwatts per centimeter squared, so that's pretty good. That can be a clinical grade intensity. So the nice thing about modern LED panels is that you can lower the brightness, which is essentially the intensity, but I don't know, everyone uses the term brightness because they don't think people can understand power or intensity. So anyway, you can reduce that down to make sure we get clinical grade intensity. So the power is down to 20%, so it's nice. This one just has fixed increments of 20, 40, 60, 80, and 100%. So that's nice. You know, you never need like a scenario where you're going to need 98%. You know, you might as well just use 100. Okay, so at 20% at 12 inches away, we have a beautiful intensity of just 11 milliwatts per centimeter squared, so right in the range that a lot of the top researchers have recommended. And even at 24 inches away, we're down to 10, so you have a nice range of 12 to 24 inches that you can be within. You can even sit in front of it or something and really get in that nice therapeutic range. Enjoy, 10 to 20 minutes at this exposure range. Do it a couple times a week, and you're good to go. And so yes, I understand that when I talk about how high intensity is unnecessary and it's not well clinically studied, and we know we get great effects at lower intensities, I do know you can either be very far away from a high-powered panel, or you can use those brightness settings to turn down the intensity. But the problem is that I don't really see influencers and brands and manufacturers marketing it that way. So I really don't see the top brands with the highest powered panels or the top influencers that are pushing the highest powered panels. I don't really see them say that as a caveat for a lot of their reviews and a lot of their info that say, hey, get this high powered panel, but make sure you use it super far away or use it at a low brightness setting. And you should only use the maximum settings very sparingly if you really know what you're doing. So yes, it's good that people are aware that you can use it at a lower brightness setting or use it super far away. But again, a lot of the marketing pressure is to use these panels at the maximum power setting, because why not? You won't be utilizing the full value that it was marketed for. All right, I'm going to bring it back to maximum power. So now we'll do the EMF test. Okay, so right up on the panel, we do get up around 20, 18 milligauss. So, a lot of people wouldn't be comfortable with that, having it so close. But even 6 inches away, it's already down to 1 or 2. And closer to 12 inches away, it's less than 1. So 12 inches away, it's already negligible, even at the maximum power and brightness. Now I've turned it back down to 20% because a lot of times it seems like influencers are trying to cope with the skin contact method by saying, oh, don't worry about EMFs because they know they're selling you high EMF products. And oh yeah, you can just hug your panels that they sold you with their affiliate codes, and don't worry about the EMFs, and maybe just turn down the brightness. So I've turned it down to 20% and we'll recheck the EMFs. So it looks like the biggest hotspot is still in the middle. It's still around 20 milligauss. As we get up to this part, it's 15. So again, it depends on like the locations of where the drivers are behind and where the fans are. So, it's a little bit variable if you move it around. So again, it's up to whatever you're comfortable with and what you know about EMFs. Just letting you have this data. And this meter is to check the electric fields, which again is not much of an issue because of metal panels are usually grounded. So the metal enclosure itself is grounded. So that drops the voltage pretty low, so even when you're right up on it, it's not going to be an issue. So obviously if you move further away, it's even lower. So yeah, super low, down here around 10 to 20, that's like ambient. You get this just sitting around, anywhere in your house, you can get around 10. And so that wraps up the review of the Sunplus LED panel. It's very affordable. It's actually surprisingly lightweight given the size. And a lot of times people end up buying like oversized panels from Alibaba and, or tons of panels for that full body experience, which that can be nice, but you can get a lot of the benefits of the full body panels from just something that's under $400 and get going with red light therapy, use it at a lower brightness mode or use it very far away and start to get all those benefits of red light therapy without feeling like you need to invest in something that's super oversized. So anyway, hope that helped. Thanks for tuning in.